Great way to start the recording. Great way. Hi, Jared.
Hi, Anthony.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, so hi, Anthony. For any of you that tune into this, thank you for showing up. We don't have a title yet. I'm still kind of workshopping a title, but I'm going to see how this goes. Jared Minikheim, Anthony Denny here.
I am Anthony. Hello.
Anthony has just seen the first 3 episodes of Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
Because he's never seen it.
I haven't. Jared loves the show. And
I've been a fan for a while.
Which, first off, I can see why. But second, I just want to say, so Jared, he wanted to share this with me, and what's the point of life if we can't monetize it? So we are recording this for you.
It's not exactly what I had in mind, but...
Well, I mean, like, if I'm going to suffer, we're going to fucking record it so I can at least have that permanently.
So, the difference between this series that I'm going to try to do, as opposed to the Worst Nostalgia Trip run by Michael and Heather...
We take no notes.
I mean, yeah, we didn't take notes. Probably, in hindsight, that probably would have been good.
I got the episode summary.
It's off to a great start. But also, it's not really shittily... I mean, it is shitty TV, but it's not like Beetleborg's bad, where like it just makes absolutely no goddamn sense.
It's intentionally shitty. As
there you
opposed
go.
To accidentally shitty.
I don't know if Beetleborg's is even accidental. I don't know.
Like watching this show, I felt very like I told Jared, it's a very Always Sunny feel.
It is. It's very much. So, for any of you who haven't seen it,
So
Anthony,
what are you doing? Watch the entire first season, or first 3 episodes.
Yeah, so we watched first 3 episodes, and we'll do the other 3 at a later time, and so on and so forth. But yeah, so we're starting off with the Jokeyvale playlist. As I workshopped it, I'll come up with something later. You'll all know the title by the time this comes out.
Jokeyvale Boys.
But yeah, so Anthony, for anyone who hasn't seen Trailer Park Boys, as somebody who just watched the first 3 episodes, what would you...
And as someone who used to live in a trailer park.
Same here.
Oh, look at
It's
that.
amazing.
Yeah. Not together at the same time.
No, not at the same time. But how would you describe the... For somebody who's never seen it, how would you, having just seen it for the first time, describe those first 3?
Well, a fucking ride. It's... So Jared described it best to me. It's Always Sunny meets The Office, but in Canada.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's just, holy shit, like, the ride is like, I really feel for Julian, but at the same time, he's clearly just, he can't get away from this life and he likes it.
You have no fucking idea. So, okay, so let's break down the characters. So we got, the show, the series opens up with a black and white short, which is a callback to the original fan film that was made by the director, starring the people who play Ricky and Julian. I believe it was called One Last Shot. You can find it on Netflix. You can find most Trailer Park Boys things up until, well, I can't really say that because they did the animated series that's going on Netflix. But there's a lot of things that they put on the Trailer Park Boys SwearNet website that they own. Because after the Canadian TV didn't basically... The SwearNet movie explains it in their words what happened, but it's, from what I've looked up, it's the essential same thing, is that Trailer Park Boys got canceled from TV because there was... It was too much for TV. They were like, we can't keep doing this.
I'm so shocked that that's too much for TV. Oh my god, he got fat.
Who?
Julian.
I mean, well, age will do that.
Age. I'm gonna fucking look like a busted can of biscuits when I get older too. So
I'm already there. So,
you trust me, Jared. You can get a lot worse.
I don't know about that. So, yeah, it opens up with the black and white, and this is the only thing I've never understood. I have never understood the opening to this show, the series, ever. because they're like walking down the road, and then there's like a guy with a dog, and they tell him he has to get rid of the dog. But I've never fucking understood what the hell's going on in that situation. It's just so fucking random.
Yeah, and then they start shooting at each other.
They tell him they gotta drop the dog. There's probably somebody who's gonna listen and be like, I know what happened. You're an idiot. Maybe I am. I've seen it 100 times, and I still, for the life of me, cannot fucking understand.
You have to watch the original artwork. That's just the ending scene of the first episode.
See, that's where I know that the first thing that they did before he was able to make the series, they did the one last shot. Again, find it on Netflix. It's black and white. It's like, I think 20-30 minutes long. It's basically an episode, but it was a short film that he did in college. But one last shot is a bit weirder because Ricky and Julian are swapped. So Ricky's the smart one who wants to go off to college and do something, and Julian's the one who is just like the low-life scumbag guy. So it's weird watching it from that perspective. So going into the opening of the series, it's almost like he swapped them going into the series, and like that's the way that the series opens.
It works out.
It's a weird way.
Ricky looks like the party scumbag.
Yeah, so we get introduced to Julian, the muscle man, smart leader of the group, as you'll come to kind of find out, Anthony.
And like guardian of the trailer park.
Yeah, he's very much because they've grown up there. All three of the main characters, the boys, are known. But Julian's always the one that'll help people and go out of the way to help people. He always puts the trailer park before himself. It's typically how it ends up going. Yeah, no, it's just weird.
A little burpee.
Yeah, a little weird burp. Then we get introduced to Ricky, who's the dumbass. And they've both been in jail for 18 months for whatever the fuck happened in the beginning, which, again, they don't show you what they did other than they got into a fight with a guy over a dog. They don't show you anything else that could have happened that led to them going to prison. So they go home, and we find out that Julian and Ricky used to hang out a lot, but Julian doesn't want to hang out with Ricky because he knows Ricky's
Bad
Ricky.
influence.
Yeah. And Julian wants to do something different. Goes back to the trailer park. And, Anthony, what happens when he goes back to the trailer park?
Well, it turns out a random man has moved into his trailer because the two people he hired two people he told to watch a trailer just let it get the shit.
Yeah, so we get introduced to, Corey and Trevor. Fun fact for the Corey and Trevor characters themselves, they're only
in the manga, not in the anime.
Those two guys are only in the first it's up to like season 3 or 4. I'd have to go back and like double check myself, because I can't remember exactly what season it is they leave. But they end up leaving, I believe it's season 4. And behind the scenes of the reason why they leave by then is they weren't paid very well. And so it was just one of those things of like, we've been doing this quite a while. Our characters get treated like shit.
We need to get paid more.
Yeah, like, that's essentially what it came down to, is there was like a pay dispute. They felt they should get paid more for the abuse that they have to go through being the character.
Kraft macaroni as opposed to one.
It's funny you mention that. That's actually a way that a character gets paid in the one of the movies. For the man who took over Julian's trailer, whose name is Cyrus, he will be a pain in their ass through the entire series.
Yeah, he seems like he would be.
Yeah, the movie don't legalize it. There's another character that's working for him at one point when they're running cocaine and shit out of his house. And the dude who's working for him talks about that when he got out of jail, Cyrus pays him with Kraft macaroni dinners. And he's like, yeah, I mean, he gets the job done. And it's cheap.
That's very cheap, yeah.
All I have to do is buy him a box of Kraft macaroni, and he does all the security work for me.
Yeah, that's like, dude, you can go to Meijer.
It's like $1 if you go to like a dollar.
Yeah, you go to Meijer and they have their 10 for 10. You can get 10 for $10, and 11 one free. Dude, I want to meet a guy like that. I'll pay him in advance.
So anyway, back to this first episode. So Cyrus is there. They talk about he's got a gun and nobody wants to do anything.
A 9mm.
Safety, always off.
Yeah.
We also get introduced to Leahy and Randy.
Which is such a fucking culture shock when this man comes out of the car with no t-shirt on and no one is acknowledging it. They're just like, this is him. They don't like, dude, why aren't you wearing a t-shirt? What the fuck's going on? They're like, oh no, it's just fucking Randy.
Yeah, so it'll get explained later on, because people do bring it up. There are some people that'll bring it up, and Randy can't wear a shirt because he gets a rash. But yeah, so it's Randy and Mr. Leahy.
Why can't wear underwear?
Are the trailer park supervisor and assistant supervisor. Yeah, so these guys watch over the trailer park. They hate Ricky. Absolutely hate Ricky because he's as they put it, a shitstorm.
Which, yeah, fair.
Yeah, no, Ricky's never good. So yeah, then he gets into a conversation with Julian about the Cyrus situation and the Ricky situation. About how if he goes anywhere, Ricky has to go with him, and he has to get Ricky under control if he's going to stay.
And this poor Julius guy, he just wants to relax and have no one bother him.
Yeah, Julian just wants to be at home and have his drink and just be left the fuck alone.
And I love this character continuity with the drink. It's funny every time that he's just walking around with a full
There
cup.
is literally a scene, and I see it get posted in the trailer park, the fan pages all the time, because everybody's just baffled when they finally notice it. In a later season, they roll a car. The first person out of the vehicle is Julian, and it's his drink. Just holding his drink up. Everybody's like, I wish somebody would hold on to me like Julian holds on to that drink.
Yeah, it's very impressive, and it's great character continuity. Immediately, you get to see that he's always drinking, but he's classy because he's drinking,
He's a rum and coke and out of
But then the glass is always full, so he's not like downing him. He's always just slowly sipping.
Slowly sipping and constantly refilling it though.
Yeah, it's like there's so much you learn from that, and the fact that he brings it with him everywhere, driving one hand, one that is like, okay, this guy clearly just functions as a drunk.
Yeah,
he's catching up for the last.
Yeah, he's
months.
a functional drunk.
Never drink and drive, kids.
Yeah, don't drink and drive, kids. So yeah, so Julian has to figure out how to get Cyrus out of his trailer, and then you got we get introduced to Corey and Trevor. We got Ricky coming around, trying to figure out where he's gonna be living
because his girlfriend.
Yeah, with a kid.
Girlfriend. Yeah, his baby mama. We'll put it at that.
Yeah, you can just say baby. His baby mama, girlfriend, Lucy, and their young daughter Trinity. Yeah, he thinks he can go back and live there, and then of course,
he can't because the cowgirl roommate,
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah, she doesn't she tries to prevent them from communicating, and then Ricky just thinks like, oh, I'm gonna be with my girl, and everything's gonna be peachy keen, and then.
Yeah, no. So Sarah will become a bigger. They flush her character out more by the next season.
Well, I mean, season 1, you're kind of figuring out your footing. Yeah. I mean, we went through that. I'm not saying that we're as great as the Trailer Park Boys, but we went through that.
God, they're like, honestly, I would love to meet the guys, John Tremblay, Mike Trapp, and not Mike Trapp. I'm thinking College Humor. John Paul Tremblay.
Mike Smith.
Mike Smith, thank you. God damn it, there's so many Mikes.
And Rob Wells.
Rob Wells, thank you. Fuck me.
Yeah.
I fucking know their names, but just, you're gonna have to forgive me out, folks. There's been a lot that's going on today.
Jared's had a busy day.
I very much have. But no, so I would love to meet any of those guys. I would say, it's really sad because I would have loved to meet John Dunsworth. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, for any of you who don't know, John Dunsworth, who plays Mr. Leahy, passed away a couple years ago.
May he rest in peace.
Rest in peace for sure. Because, I've seen people post that, he's in a couple, low-budget films and things like that. There's not a whole lot, bigger... he was never, a AAA star.
No.
But he was very much aware that, the Trailer Park Boy fan community, we all knew him and we all very much appreciated his character. So I know that before he passed away, he would take pictures with any fan. When I was in Nebraska, Lincoln, which was like 30 minutes away from me, Randy was actually there. They did a Randy cheeseburger picnic. It's something that they come over the border. They do like a basically meet and greet.
You should have went.
I really fucking wanted to, but it was literally the day after I moved here that they were having like this small little get together thing. You had to like RSVP because of the whole COVID thing. So you had to like RSVP ahead of time and whatever.
Well, did your dad still live in Nebraska?
Yeah.
All right. Well, next time we'll take a trip.
But no, so they do things like that all the time. But the Randy cheeseburger picnics, like if you guys could ever get yourself to one, I would highly recommend it. Because the guy who plays Randy, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Anthony's got the stuff over here.
Yeah.
I
got the stuff.
You got the stuff. But he never wears a shirt. When you used to like when you meet Randy, you're meeting like cheeseburger
Patrick
Randy.
Roach.
Thank you, Pat Roach. But no, Pat Roach does a lot of things like that. And they're always willing to take pictures of the fans of these things. They're constantly finding ways to like reach out to the fans.
God, Mike Smith looks so weird without
the glasses.
Yeah, he looks like a normal human.
Yeah. When I first watched SwearNet and I saw him with his regular glasses and not the Bubbles ones, I didn't know who the fuck it was.
Yeah, I mean,
it took me a minute to be like, oh my god, that's the guy who plays Bubbles.
It is such an iconic look.
So anyway, back to this episode. So he does end up getting rid of Cyrus, but it's a whole fucking rigmarole. Ricky's gonna sleep in the fucking car.
Well, first he's being sent to his dad's house.
Oh yeah, but Ray, his father, is drunk again, and he knows better than to go in and mess with Ray. You never know what's gonna be in there. Girls, party, you don't know what you're gonna walk into. So I'd rather sleep at the playground, and he walks away.
And you can see where that influence came from.
So he can't stay there. Meanwhile, Julian's trying to figure out the Cyrus situation. How the hell do I get this guy out of my house? And he's also getting phone calls from everybody about everything that's going on. And he's like, I just don't want to deal with all this. Like, I just got back. This is stupid.
Yep. It's really funny because he gets rid of Cyrus by basically calling him out on his...
Yeah, because Cyrus said, he keeps going off about that his gun has a safety off, and he's not afraid to use it. But then, of course, Julian calls him on that bullshit, cocks it, holds it to his head, and keeps telling him, like, all right, then do it. Do it.
Man, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I ain't got time for this. Fuck off. I got work to do.
Wait, every time he said that, I was like, I hate you a little bit more. He's like, you have no work to do.
No.
And why are you telling them fuck off when you're the one leaving?
Yeah, no, that's Cyrus in a
Like his
nutshell
daddy
for
was
that entire fucking series.
Like his daddy was a car mechanic and always sold out to him.
I always loved that joke in season 1, though, when he first meets Ricky, and he calls him Fonzie. Fucking love that joke, because it's so good.
Tuesday, happy day.
Oh, just get done recording Happy Days there, Fonzie?
And I like how he's fucking like, give me your smokes, and he gives him half of them. He's like, you gonna kill me over 2 smokes? Nah, fuck off, I got work to do.
I got work to do.
He's like, wow, you can really tell that this man's a brave who really likes confrontation.
So yeah, he gets rid of him. Trailer Park rejoices, and then it goes to the end of the night. Julian's trying to have a drink, just relax finally. Ricky shows up in the window, like, hey man, I ain't got nowhere to go. Could I sleep in the car?
Yeah, the car. Well, when we get to the next episode, I'll talk about the car more. Because I was very confused in the beginning of the episode.
So, Julian looks out. Ricky has not left. He's sleeping on the porch. And like, God, this guy just won't give up, huh? So he brings him out a blanket. He's like, hey, man, you can sleep in the car a couple days. But, Anthony, what else does he bring? Because this fucking killed you.
It's the type of humor that I love because it takes me, like, sidetrack humor where I expected it to go one way and it hits me with a freight train going the other direction. And he brings him out a package of opened hot dogs and a bottle of vodka. And not like a fifth. Like one of those big ass bottles.
No, it's a full ass bottle of vodka.
And I'm just like, wow, that alone told me everything I need to know about both of these characters. That Julian's a great guy, and he really knows his friends. And Ricky is just, he will consume any. No, he'll be like,
It's not smart at all.
it was amazing. And then he goes into the car, opens up the bottle of vodka, and then eats a cold hot dog.
Immediately starts eating uncooked hot dogs.
And I'm like, that alone, just like, wow, that's what really sold the show to me. I'm like, see, episode 3, that fucking, you didn't see me that entire part, but my mouth is agape for like a solid 3 minutes.
I caught your initial initial reaction. I'm like, okay, I think he's got it now. So going into episode 2, if you have the, this is why we should start taking some notes.
Episode 2, fuck community. Okay, first episode's called "Take Your Little Gun and Get Out of My Trailer Park,"
which is the line Julian tells Cyrus at the very end.
Yep, and then there's "Fuck community college. Let's get drunk and eat chicken fingers."
Correct. So this episode starts off, Julian's getting phone calls from fucking everybody and their mother. Mm-hmm. But before that, Ricky's shooting his gun in the middle of the goddamn night because dogs are barking.
And he can't sleep.
Which is just great. Just great. He's shooting it in every direction in a trailer
He's
park.
like, shh. Like a dog didn't bark at loud noises.
There's one little tidbit in that episode, and I didn't say anything to you while we were watching because it's something you'll hear it more and more. The guy who tells him stop fucking firing.
Mm-hmm. Stop fucking firing.
Stop fucking firing. He's throughout the entire series, and that is what you'll hear at random. Whenever anybody's shooting guns, they're just randomly him. Just, stop with the guns. There's one specific one I remember later on where they're really going at it with like AKs and whatnot, and all the firing stops, and you just hear, "Oh, well, don't stop on my account."
I love shit like that, where it's like, this man who lives in this trailer park
Just the dude who lives there
is hearing gunfire, and he's like, "Fuck, shut the fuck up," to a person with a loaded gun. Is amazing. Like, don't stop on my account.
So yeah, then Julie wakes up to a bunch of phone calls from the trailer park supervisor Leahy about the gunfire, and apparently the car's leaking oil, as he puts it. You have Ricky's girlfriend calling about who's going to babysit Trinity for the day, and we have a talk about responsibility.
Which is really weird, because I feel like she's got a thing for Julian.
She very much has a thing for Julian that she will never fully acknowledge.
I feel like it would be better for her mental health if she did, because I feel like there's going to be some animosity between the boys if they ever find out. Because I feel like Ricky is the kind of guy who would be shallow enough to attack his best friend if he found out that his baby mama had a crush. Am I predicting a future episode?
I don't think they ever get to that point, but there's definitely... you would think that, but things that happen next season, the season after, whatnot, there's things that happen where, like, she dates other people, and he calls her out every time. You're only dating him to make me jealous, aren't you? It's one of those.
No, and here's advice for everyone. If your ex has started dating other people, it's not because she wants to get back at you. Sometimes she's
unless her name is Lucy and she lives in a trailer park.
Maybe that's true. Or Jamestown, New York.
She also gets... I'm trying to figure out how to word this other than how they worded it in the series later on. But I guess there's no really other way to put it. She gets bigger tits later on. Like, and they talk about that it's because there's a job they do a bunch of money, then they go to prison, of course. People take all the money, and she takes part of the money and gets a...
boob job.
Yeah, an elective procedure done. So that plays in at that point. Anywho, so you also got Ricky sleeping in the goddamn car. He's growing his weed plants, or as they call it, dope, in the car. He's got 4 plants.
He used to have 5, though.
He used to have 5, but a squirrel ate one of them.
No, a squirrel peed on one of them.
Squirrel peed on it. That's fucking right.
And I was very confused at first, and my answer became much later in the episode. And I'm like, just roll up the fucking windows, dude. Like I said, my answer came later.
It does.
Which is why also I laughed so hard, because I was thinking about that the whole time. I'm like, because also apparently Bubbles lent him a cat.
Yeah, he loaned him a cat, and then he comes back for his cat. It's fucking... I said you could loan the cat. I didn't say you could have the cat. I want it back.
Yeah, how many cats does Bubbles have?
I have no idea.
Like high.
Like, every single cat you see running around, at some point Bubbles is taking care of it.
Okay.
Pretty much, like, living in the shed the way Bubbles does.
He's like the landscaper, I'm assuming. He's got that. Because he lives in the shed.
No.
No, he's not a landscaper?
No, he's as broke as they are.
Oh, he's just a dude who lives in a
The
shed.
backstory to Bubbles was that his parents left when he was very, very little. Mm-hmm. And Julian basically Julian let him live in the shed.
So the shed's on Julian's property.
It's hard. I think I'm trying to think of how they do it with this first season, because later on he moves it all over the place. But basically he ends up living in the shed because his parents just up and abandoned him, and he doesn't have anybody, and Julian felt bad, so he decked out the shed to have a bed and toilet and everything so that he would have a place to live.
I didn't realize your grandpa was Bubbles.
So, anyway. Listen to What an Oddcast for that. But anyway. So, yeah. Bubbles takes his cat back, but then Ricky gets mad. They start going to have a fight. And then everybody and their goddamn brother shows up at Julian's house.
My favorite part about that, so there's Leahy and I keep forgetting her name. Lucy, probably because it was too... They're knocking out the door.
Yep.
Bubbles and Ricky are fighting.
Yep.
And then just like 5 more people show up and just start randomly fighting.
Well, see, that's the thing. Characters we forgot to mention was the Rock Pile.
J-Rock.
J to the R-O-C and the Rock Pile.
You know, I think it was like my brain subconsciously from the future every time I called you J-Rock accidentally. Because I'm like, I've never called you J-Rock before. Why would I?
That was my nickname when I first started at McDonald's with Ricky.
Oh, with Ricky?
I'm pretty sure his name was Ricky, but he was a manager when I first started there. Before some very unfortunate circumstances happened, and he didn't work there anymore.
He was a furry.
McDick Nuggets. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
So I'll tell it here, and then I'll just bring it up Thursday too.
Yeah, because this is a Patreon exclusive.
This is, which again, we're only like 20 minutes something in, but I mean, like, thank you for listening to this. If you do.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you're listening to it whenever I put it free to show you guys, like, thank you for that too. I don't fucking know. Anyway, no, when we were in McDonald's, there was a guy, Ricky. We were closing one night, and this car of fat women showed up. I only say that because it was like 4 women who like plastered, like they had clearly been at like some kind of bridal shower or something. Mm-hmm. They ordered a ridiculous amount of food. I mean, I try not to judge people, but like, fucking Christ, because they had like like 3 40-piece McNuggets,
Jared and I
6 double cheeseburgers and shit, and I'm like, we're fucking closed in 5 minutes. I don't have any of that shit.
Like Jared and I, we're heavier folks, so we understand.
I understand to a degree.
Yeah, exactly.
But when I see 4 women and I see 4 20-piece nuggets
in general,
6 fucking double cheeseburgers, and the McChickens, like, they literally ordered, like, all the dollar menu things, but they ordered them in bulk, so it's like, for the love of God, just go drink some more alcohol and pass out or something, because, like, we don't have this food. But because of that, we had to cook up the nuggets.
Yeah.
We got done with them, and we had to put the last few of them to get them out the window.
No.
So Ricky stopped me, and he's like, I got this.
He did it.
Took a whole handful of the last 20-piece, rubbed them all over downstairs, all over his balls on his pants, and then slammed them in the box, closed them up. Before any of us could say a word, he whipped it out the window, turned around, comes back after being super nice and like, you have a nice night, ladies. All right, let's close up. I hope they enjoyed them dick nuggets. And then we just closed. Nobody said a word until until our boss came up to me a couple days later and asked me if I knew anything about a certain scenario that had happened, and I pleaded the fifth. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's only one place in that whole building that had no cameras, and that was the fucking, like, the office. Like, the kids, the employee lounge or whatever. That small little 2x2 room.
Yeah, so, I pleaded the fifth. I just said I didn't know what she was talking about because I was not about to get thrown under the bus with him. So, like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Why they all hated you? Because they all knew.
No, nobody liked Ricky. I liked him when I first started because he was one of the only people that I actually got along with and talked to. But he had a lot of... There were some problems I found out about later.
I've heard some stuff from Heather.
Yeah, so... Unfortunately, there was that, and then I found out what she was asking about wasn't even that scenario. She was asking about the other scenario, which I had no idea was going on. So I wasn't lying when I said I had no clue. I literally had no clue what specifically she was asking about. But anyway, going back to this.
Yeah, anyway.
So everybody's fighting. The rock pile shows up, and you are correct. This part makes me laugh because it's literally Corey and Trevor walk up to try to break up Ricky and Bubbles from fighting, and the rock pile shows up and just starts beating the shit out of them for some reason.
No reason. It's like, no wonder why...
It's just everybody's fighting, because, hey, there's a fight.
Julian wants to leave the fucking trailer park after that.
But yeah, so Julian walks out, and he's pissed off, shoots his gun off, and he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm leaving.
Which I'm pretty sure that's Cyrus's gun.
Yeah, it's Cyrus's gun he took from him. Because he gets, like, I think they give him a Desert Eagle later on. He just upgrades it so that nobody will touch it. Jesus Christ. So yeah, Julian tells him he's going to leave, which then, of course, everybody...
Oh, no.
Yeah, everybody starts flipping out because they can't have Julian leave. And then they tell you a little bit more. Yeah, the Leahy thing. Can't leave here without Ricky. And he's going to, like, charge him, like, oh, you need us back lot fees when you were in jail, and you have a lease that you signed, and yeah, like, XYZ, anything to keep Julian in the park.
Basically, he's blackmailing him.
Yeah, it's Leahy's thing. He'll blackmail the shit out of you. He does that quite a bit throughout the series.
I can tell from these 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, so they start talking about Ricky has to leave because Julian's gonna move. He's gonna go to community college. He's not gonna have the trailer anymore. So Ricky's got to get off his property, and then Ricky argues with him that it's his property because he's living in the car.
And Julian, I don't know why I keep saying Julius. He gives him a 1-week notice. So actually, technically, legally. Well, I don't know Canadian law, but legally he would have the right. He's like, hey, you...
Yeah, no, you got your notice. Which then Julian tells him very specifically. I'm going to be very clear with you, Ricky. No blues music, no chicken fingers, no Ray getting drunk. End of the line, Ricky.
And this is where I turned to Jared and said, cut to...
And it's exactly what it cut to.
Cut to that.
Blues music, Ray drunk, making chicken fingers.
It was amazing. And it was like, it blew my mind when I saw that. I'm like, I want this to happen after saying that. That would tell me, like, oh my god. And then it did.
So Julian comes out, doesn't say a word, just rips out the blues cassette and, like, just
he unplugs the toaster.
Yeah, he unplugs a toaster that's on an extension cord. That's his, by the way. Kicks Ray off, and then takes back the toaster, tells Ricky that he wasn't messing around, like, this is for real what I'm doing.
And Ray, who's in a wheelchair, and doesn't look that old. Doesn't look like he's...
Oh, you wait. There's a whole plot line with Ray and his fucking wheelchair.
Oh, and his age?
No, not his age. More specifically, that wheelchair is bullshit, and that's a thing that gets brought up in, like, I think, season 3.
I believe it.
But he faked having an accident because he crashed his semi. So to give you people backstory here, if you haven't seen the series, this is something that they bring up way later, but he was a truck driver, and he had a really bad accident where the truck, like, flipped and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Ray told him, air brakes locked up. Fuck you do. Then they interview the other people, and it's like, well, yeah, of course he flipped it. He was drunk off his ass. He's always drunk. Of course he crashed it.
Of course he did.
Oh, man, the air brakes locked up, and, I couldn't keep control of her, bud. And away she goes. She flipped it. And that was his excuse, on top of, I have these terrible back spasms. So, I mean, once the air brake's locked up, I couldn't keep my foot on it, and just, what do you do? He uses back spasms from the accident is why he uses the wheelchair.
I got lumbago.
Yeah, it's a whole fucking thing. So, yeah. Then Ricky goes off drinking, passing out. Julian has to go deal with it again.
He's in the middle of the street.
Yeah, he just passed out in the middle of the street. And then they also give me the thing with Lucy and Sarah talking about how Ricky thinks he's stupid, which, I mean...
No, earlier...
Ricky is... There are cases later on where, like, Ricky is smarter than he thinks he is, but he's so... He's been pushed down to the point of thinking that he's stupid that, like, the smartness that is there hardly ever fucking shines through.
Now, in episode 1, I said how I see a lot of Ricky's and Jared compared himself, which I don't agree with, until this very scene where I'm like, wow, that's Jared's self-confidence to a T. He's been kicked down his whole life that he thinks he's all these things when he's not. I didn't want to say it then, but that's what you got from Ricky, Jared.
Oh.
But then...
So, yeah, Julian gets up Ricky, and they start talking about, like, hey, man, you're not that stupid. Like, come on.
I need you to help fix my car.
Yeah, they're going to fix the car, which immediately the question that should get brought up is, where are they going to get the money to fix the car when Ricky's already having issues with trying to get the equipment to grow weed when he doesn't have that either?
Mm-hmm. They just fucking steal
Cut
it.
to. They just fucking take it from other cars.
Ripping shit out of other cars.
No regard. They just rip it off of random vehicles in the city.
Blown away. I feel like in every episode there's going to be a part where I'm just like, what?
They do things... They steal shit like that in that same exact way you saw through the entire series. It'll just be, I need a tire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that tire will fit. Jack up the car, take the tire, swap out tire with my tire, leave.
It was amazing to see that. And then it cuts to them talking about how Ricky actually has something, a secret talent.
Oh, yeah. Lucy and Sarah start talking about Ricky has this ungodly unique talent. Which is that if the cops ever stop him, he can bullshit his way out of it and get away with it 99% of the time.
And which was insane to see because, like, they're stealing from a car.
All right, boys, I'm gonna need your names. And by the way, he always uses Corey and Trevor's names. Even if it's his name, he'll put Trevor Corey or Corey Trevor as his name.
I believe that.
Oh yeah, he throws those kids under the bus.
I fucking love it though. They're the
scapegoats.
They caught him red-handed. Julian has an open container.
He has an open container of alcohol.
And yet...
Oh yeah, guys, you see the camera? You guys are being filmed. We were testing you guys, and, I'm not supposed to tell you, but I did, it's a training thing. We're trying to give you guys the look of through the criminal's eyes, so, you guys have a better idea what you're doing on the force. Wasn't supposed to tell you, but can't have you calling it in and ruin it with the other officers there. Which, the cop that stops them, his name is George Green. Mm-hmm. He will come up in later seasons as a more pain-in-the-side character for them.
Well, probably because
very much introducing him, he's nothing. By season 2, George Green, you slowly see as this cop that constantly busts them. But yeah, he's just like, alright, don't call it in. They got us again. Which is just, they got you again?
Yeah.
Like, how many times are you pulling over the cops, like, filming crew?
Yeah, and, like, amazing. The fact that they leave and get away with it.
Just
granted, again,
leave.
Open container.
Open container of alcohol. Clearly stealing car parts that are just sitting in this fucking, like, Jeep.
And it's just like, okay, and they fucking leave. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, they get away with it. That was it.
That's what happens when you roll a nat 20 on your charisma stat,
fucking for real. So then they end up going back. They get the car started with the help of the rock pile. Somehow they get that fucking thing running.
Something into it.
I don't fucking know. Like, I'm not a car person.
So my assumption is cars run on gas. They run on no. Hear me out. They run on miniature explosions. So what I'm assuming is they're spraying an accelerant into the engine to make it explode.
It looks like it.
Like that. That's what my.
But there is like I was telling Anthony before. I've seen like some behind the scenes things. I bet you could probably get it if I went to the website, but I haven't done that yet because there's so much on there and I just don't have the fucking time to watch it all. But I know that they have a fuck ton on it. But there is a behind the scenes. I found it on YouTube at random the one day. But there was actually a scene when they were spraying that in there that the whole engine lit on fire right there. So they had to extinguish it out, clean it, and then go for the take again. And then the same exact scene, J-Rock goes to walk away and he there's a van that drives by, but right before where the van drives by, he had tripped and ate shit all over the road, and it's just out of camera angle, so they didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently that's called startup spray. It's a real
hey,
thing.
there you go. You got
it. Spray it in there and just help start the engine. Should have used that for your car.
Oh God, that truck's a total piece of shit. I'll drive it till it fucking completely dies on me.
So
they get the car started.
Yeah.
He takes the car to Lucy.
But wait, Julian gives...
Oh, that's right.
He gives Ricky the car.
Yep.
And then we cut to him driving away, and then all my questions were answered about the squirrel issue earlier.
It's missing a door. The passenger side door is just fucking gone.
Completely gone. And this was another part of the episode that just fucking took me and laughs. And every time I see this car, I'm laughing.
I don't know. I can't remember if they bring it up this season or next. But there is an explanation for that. I think Bubbles tells us that was Julian's grandmother's car. Mm-hmm. And Bubbles tells, as talking to the camera, he's like, you think Julian drinks? His grandmother, man, she had the fifth bottle with her at all times. So that most of the damage came from her before Ricky ever even got it. So that door missing, the paint job, all the dings, dents, all of that was because his grandmother drove around drunk as fuck.
I just, the fact that it has no doors and he's driving it around.
Yeah, it has, the driver's side door doesn't open and the passenger side door is just fucking gone.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they explain how Ricky's good with cops, so he doesn't have to worry about being pulled over because he's going to fucking...
he will come up with an excuse. But yeah, so he takes the car, he goes over to Lucy, and he's like, yeah, let's go have a family day out. And Anthony was blown away at the fact that they're just like, okay, yeah, sweet, he's got a car. And a daughter gets in, Lucy gets in, seatbelt, leg up on the dash, everything's good.
Hand on top of the hood.
Yeah, everything's good. Until the car, I heard Anthony burst out dying because we had to have the subtitles on because
Heather was making cookies.
Correct. Anthony's wife Heather, she was making cookies. Catch her on the worst snow trip ever taken.
We're ripping off the show right here.
Pretty much. She was making cookies, and there wasn't about to be a fighting of a beater with a thing, which I've seen 100 times. He doesn't mind subtitles, so
I don't mind.
Whatever. We just turn on subtitles.
I'm not going to turn it up to 100,
which is fucking great because it tells you engine revving, engine kicks over. It just, the subtitles are telling you this car will not fucking start. He goes to drive away and it dies 2 feet away. Fuck! Engine revving, engine turns over.
And my favorite part about that is you and I have both been there. When my engine exploded.
I was just there a couple weeks ago.
When my engine exploded, I was there where I'm when my fucking car engine died, I was at a fucking... going up a hill, I was on a stoplight, and then I stopped moving, and then my engine wouldn't start. And fuck, I'm at a stoplight, so I popped on my hazards, put on my reverse lights, and I just, waved people around me, and I fucking pulled to the side of the road.
I would have had a straight-up panic attack.
I was on my way to a mechanic when it died. So I got the tow truck, and I had to pull to the mechanic I was going to. I had to pay him $1 because it was $1 away from mile. It's it was 21 miles away, and my plan only covered 20 miles. So I'm he's it's $1 per mile. I'm so you mean $1? Yeah, I had $1 in my wallet. I'm here, take it, please.
Oh, so now we watched episode 3, which is where we're going to end this for you all. Going into episode 3, Anthony.
Oh yeah, here, let me get this.
I'm pretty sure I remember the title of this one.
It is Mr. Leahy has got my porno tape.
Yep. Yep, Mr. Leahy's got my porno tape. Which is exactly how it sounds. There is no misreading that title, folks. So it starts off, Ricky wants money. He needs to get shit to grow his weed because Lucy won't be with him because he's not making any money. So he needs to grow weed.
And I love that fucking cop. She's like, yeah, I'm not going to be with him if he doesn't have money.
He's not growing dope. He doesn't have a job. I can't be with him.
And I fucking love that because you think be like, oh, I won't care, but no.
Oh, no, straight up. Like, no, she is the
realistic,
shallowest of the shallow women you will ever see on a TV show.
I mean, shallow, realistic, because, I mean, you know.
You're hearing this come from the guy who's seen this series through on everything on Netflix. I've seen through multiple times. Like, she is shallow.
I'm sure it evolves as the show
She
does.
fucks Ricky. She fucks Randy. She fucks George Green. She fucks...
Bubbles?
Cyrus?
No Bubbles love?
No, nobody makes love to Bubbles. There's actually a really fun joke in the Out of the Park Europe that they did. Where because that one's a really fun one, which I wish they would do more, but COVID kind of killed that. Yeah. Which is really sad. They only got to do a season of Europe and a season of USA, and they hinted that they were going to do more Out of the Park stuff like that, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
But in the Europe one, the SwearNet company I talked about, basically Julian signs a contract to go on vacation. Of course, he doesn't fucking read it, and it turns out it's a giant-ass pranking game show where they have to complete things to get paid, and they can't get out of it. And they go to Amsterdam. I think it's the last episode. I want to say it's the very last episode, and there's a secret task that Julian keeps, but if Bubbles sleeps with a red light district lady that SwearNet has bought for him, they will get, I think it's like $5,000. They don't tell Bubbles all the way till the very end, and they fail fucking every task, every goddamn episode, because Ricky's a fucking idiot, and Julian's selfish, and Bubbles is just like, I just wanted fucking vacation. So they get Bubbles in there, and he's sleeps with the girl. They can't take the camera in. Policy. Then they get back to the bus, and they're like, oh yeah, Bubbles did a whole bunch of stuff to him. And they're like, the fucking dude who runs it is the sleaziest asshole. He's like, did he really? Did he really? Bubbles, did you get in there? Hell no, I talked to her. He sat there and talked to her for like 10 minutes and then left. Says he couldn't get it up. Sorry, boys, I've never been in that situation.
I mean, that's understandable, I'll be honest.
I felt so bad for him. But anyway, it actually relates to this because...
Ricky needs money.
Yeah, so Ricky, first he goes to the shop where he would normally buy his growing equipment. Oh, fucking boy. The
hydroponic system.
Yeah, so the guy goes in, and then the guy tells him to fuck off because Ricky owes him money. And Ricky's like, is this about the $100 I owe you? Which is fucking great when somebody's like, I refuse to do business with you. This is because I owe you $100 at your place of business? Mm-hmm. What do you mean I have an owed amount of money due? How dare you? So yeah, that happens. They get kicked out. And then Ricky's all like, this is fuck. There's no way in hell I can do anything. I can't grow my stuff.
I need to make money somehow. And fucking...
So as he's...
The Rock Squad.
As Ricky's doing something that only a true smoker will ever fucking understand. I understand it 100%.
As he's smoking weed. I was like... Please continue. I was making a joke.
Ricky is looking for cigarette butts because he's broke and he doesn't have any smokes. Which, unless you have been a smoker to understand what the fuck that is like... Which, granted, I've never dug through a public thing. That's very much like a Ricky dirty thing. But, like, most smokers have gotten to a point where, like, you didn't fully finish one. And you're like, oh, fuck, I didn't finish that one. I don't need a new pack just yet. Well, Ricky's essentially doing that, but with just random cigarette butts all over the place. Then J-Rock shows up and is like, hey, man, I can get you money. Don't even worry about it. Just show up in my place. I will get you paid. Which sounds fucking great.
And I fucking love, because it seems like in every episode, Julian's gonna get messages.
This season, that's how they do it. It's Julian gets a message, which there's There's a really funny one. I'm pretty sure it's the next episode. Is one of the funniest fucking messages he ever gets at the end.
Well, hold off for now.
Oh God, you'll fucking. I'm pretty sure it's either that episode or the 5th one. I'm pretty sure it's the next one that I have.
Well, we're gonna be seeing it next time we do this. So.
It's the God. It is one of my favorite episodes ever.
And it worries me, like when I heard what Ricky was saying, because I've heard this. Oh, it's a really great opportunity. And I'm like,
I just need to talk to you, man. If you can come down to the rock quarry like we used to and shoot guns and stuff, it helps me clear my head and think things out, But it's a really great opportunity. Really, really great. I just need to talk to you, and I need to hear from you today.
That makes me think of like those hey hun, haven't seen you since. Well, I don't get those.
About a timeshare. It's I heard it's a great investment and a great thing. If you could just give me a call back. I put your name down, but I haven't heard back. So anyway, they're at the Rock Warrior, they're shooting guns, and Ricky asks him the most random question you could ever possibly fucking ask somebody.
What do you think about those guys who star in pornos?
They're greasy.
What if I started in porno? Think I would be greasy?
Yes.
I fucking love that. It's like, yes, I still stand of what I say.
I stand by my statement.
Just because it's you doesn't mean I don't stand by it.
Well, what if Robert De Niro starred in one of those porno flicks? Robert De Niro would never star in one of those. He's an actual actor.
It's not a movie, because he keeps calling it like a film.
So Ricky brings up that J-Rock's offered him to be in his next porno movie, which is something that J-Rock does throughout the series. He'll randomly film one of these fucking things, and they're just the cheapest, worst piece of shit that he's selling at the gas station.
It was so terrible.
And he's literally selling them at the town gas station is something that he brings up. I can't remember what fucking season, but he casually brings up, like, yeah, I send them over to my connection in Russia, and I sell them at the gas station down the street.
Oh, God. And
can you imagine you walk through the beaded curtain for one of those? Just terrible angle lenses, no lighting,
and then you're looking at the people in it, and then you look over at the dude pumping gas, and you look back at the tape, and then you look back at him. You start squinting real hard.
I think I know that guy. I think I watched him in a porn last night, a really shitty one too.
And then he looks at you looking at him, and you're like, oh, no, that is him. But if I explain why I'm looking at him, he's going to know.
So that's what Ricky's going to do. And then, while Ricky's going in to do that, we also find out Bubbles is in on it, too.
Getting paid $160.
Fucking Bubbles, I love him. Well, first they told me they give me $40. I told them, fuck right off. And now they're going to give me $160.
I mean, yeah.
All they did was essentially double the amount of money they were going to give him. And he's like, yeah, no, I got you. I can buy my cat food that way.
I really, also, it's called From Russia with Love Boner.
Not even a clever fucking name.
No, he just took a name of something, From Russia with Love, From Paris with Love.
And just added boner.
Mm-hmm. And they're talking about this whole plot of the movie, like the actresses, and they're explaining this whole plot.
Now, this, again, killed Anthony. And, like, I love watching this with him now because his reaction to things is fucking great. He realizes that they're supposed to be stealing a motorcycle and, like, going to sell it in Russia. But they're inside a trailer, and they don't try to make it look like the outdoors at all. They're just in front of a window.
Yeah.
It clearly has a divider in the middle.
I was like, at first I'm like, okay, maybe this is just like the pre-show and all that. And then like, okay, we're filming. I'm like, what do you mean you're filming? We're inside still.
Oh, and Ricky gives a terrible Russian accent.
It makes me realize, man, there are people out there who can do accents as good as us.
Oh, I can't even copy how, because it's...
What are you doing?
What are you doing here? Like, I instinctively
What's going on here?
I just instinctively put that, like, Russian flair into it whenever I try to do it, because it cracks me up. But Ricky doing it kills me, because there's no even attempting to try. He just makes his voice a little bit deeper. That's all he fucking does.
What's going on here? And
it's just so good.
Oh, maybe we can do stuff. And
maybe we can do some community service.
And then fucking Bubbles walks in.
Bubbles just walks in wearing like the classic like Russian fucking
like
fur hat.
Yeah. What's going on?
What's going on? Not even putting on an accent. Just what's going on here?
It's like Officer Bolowski or something.
Blofsky. Officer Blofsky.
And then poor Ricky. He can't get it up.
Ricky can't get his dick hard, which is obviously a problem if you're going to be doing a porn.
Because, he's thinking about the girl,
He's thinking about his daughter and Lucy, so he can't get it up. Yep. They all shit on him for it.
Because, he's technically in a relationship with her because he calls her girlfriend. From his perspective...
It's a complicated thing that they always have complicated for this entire series.
From his perspective, they're in a relationship.
There is never a single goddamn point in this series where they're either just together or married or anything. It is always this. It is always a complicated mess. So they stop filming. At which point Bubbles brings up that he still very much would like to get it on. So, I mean, if she's okay with it, then, I mean, I'd still like to, And then immediately turns to Ricky, don't fucking ruin this for me.
I know. And they're talking about, you can tell that J-Rock really knows his porn because he's talking about softcore versus hardcore, because for those who don't know, softcore is all about the sound. There's no actual penetration.
Yeah, softcore is more like softcore you can get away with in like a feature film because there's nothing going on. There's no actual penetration. There's nothing really happening.
Except for that one scene with Halle Berry and fucking the guy who was married to Angelina Jolie. There's full on you can see his scrotum full on like underneath her.
Well, sometimes that happens. But the rule for softcore porn is that you cannot show balls or dick, penetration, cannot show bush.
No.
The only thing you can show is...
titties.
From the belly button up. So you can show the titties and the guy belly button up with her doing his thing, but you can't show anything below the belt.
If you don't see penetration, I'm letting you guys know, you're not seeing penetration. You're just hearing the girl go, and the guy going, and someone's slapping his thighs.
Yeah. I mean, you'd probably see some guy butt because that's pretty common, but they're not going to show you anything.
No.
So he tells him like, well, Ricky, we could at least do the softcore stuff. I can still market that in a more wider audience.
Yeah.
So... oh my god.
And what happens, Jared?
They go back in to start filming again, and Bubbles is like straight up about to just put it in. Like he is so close to finally getting it in. And then Leahy shows up. But not just Leahy and Randy.
No.
The funniest fucking entrance of a character.
J-Rock's mom.
His fucking mom!
Which already, because J-Rock already gave me that vibe of, fake white guy who wants to be a gangster.
They do so well with his character later on, giving like a wider look into his backstory at his character alone. But this is an introduction for his mother is so fucking great.
What are you doing in here?
Jamie, what do you think you're doing in here?
And she like grabs him by the ear.
She straight up does the mom holding your ear, pulling your head down thing. Like, oh mom, what are you doing? You making me look like a fool, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's something we forgot to say. We forgot to mention earlier on. The J-Rock and Tyrone.
They're explaining about the porno.
So T and J-Rock are having a conversation, and J-Rock keeps saying, no, I'm saying, and T calls him out on it, like, man, like 80, 90 times, that's too much. That's too much, man. Like, you can say it like once, twice, maybe 3 times, man, but
I feel like
8, 9 times, man, that's too much.
I feel like they put that in there just so they can just say it as much as they want. Because probably someone was like, oh, that's kind of annoying how much he says it. Oh, you want to see how annoying it is.
Oh, is it annoying? Let me show you.
Because he goes like, you gonna count how many times I'm saying, know what I'm saying, know what I'm saying? Like, he said that.
What do you like to know what I'm saying, please? You know what I'm saying?
He's like, in fact, now he's saying it twice a sentence, like, bravo. And
fucking for real.
And the porn actresses, they also were like, no, you do say it a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, then they're adamant about that they need to get paid, and he can't because his mom's kicking his ass right now. Like,
money in hand.
Yeah, so then that goes all completely right, and Leahy takes the porno tape and takes off.
And
and uses it as blackmail. Go fucking figure.
Telling the Ricky, like, I want you out of this town or everyone's going to see this. Which I don't think there was actually anything filmed on it.
There was nothing. He couldn't even get hard, so there wasn't anything in there anyway.
Which I guess it would be embarrassing if,
I mean, it would be embarrassing, but at least, like, you could show that you weren't cheating on Lucy. Like, you couldn't do it. Like, physically you could not do it. You'd have proof, which is something that comes up here in next episode, that she wants proof of it and you can't, whatever. So they do play with that. But because Leahy takes it, tells him he wants him out by 9 a.m. So then we get another Julian voicemail. Alright, so I guess I'm going to break into Leahy's trailer and kill him and Randy and take the porno tape. I mean, I don't really have much of a choice, so...
Me and Bubble are going to go do that.
Yeah, Bubbles said he'd help me, so I guess we're going to do that unless you feel like you need to stop us, but I don't know why you would, because Bubbles is going to help me, so, we're just both going to be implicated in their murder, but, no big deal or anything.
To which, of course, Julian now has
Julian, of course, takes off. It's like, God damn it.
With drink in his hand.
Drink in hand, talking about how it's some bullshit that I got to go take care of this again.
And he, good on him, he stops Ricky and Bubbles. He's like,
he does, he stops Ricky and Bubbles, says he'll do it himself.
Yeah, and so he brings up the camera crew to Leahy's trailer, and
late at night, by the way, they skip to late at night when Ricky's going to be doing it.
2 a.m. probably.
No, I'd say probably like 9, 10 o'clock. Like it's dark out, but people are still up, but it's like it's dark, so it's probably like 10 o'clock, 10, 11, something like that.
And so Ricky, he breaks open the door. He puts down his drink, which you can tell he's being serious.
Oh yeah, he puts down that drink, and like he's not messing around. He's not gonna make any mess ups here.
And he has the camera crew come into Leahy's trailer, so this whole camera crew is implicit.
Yeah, so he picks the lock, gets in, goes down the hall. But again, Anthony pointed out, takes the camera crew with him, which, as Anthony pointed out, I can understand for our point of view, but for him specifically...
Yeah, like, as a viewer of the show, yes, I appreciate what happened, because, my God.
Yeah, so he goes into Mr. Leahy's room.
And here's what I'm expecting, like, he's jacking off to, like, Ricky's soft. Like, he's like, oh yeah, you can't go enough, can you, boy? That's what I was expecting.
No, Anthony thought they were going to go that route with it.
Holy fucking shit. Was it not that?
They were just doing gymnastics, Anthony. That
was a sex horse.
That is why Randy was on the horse with a leather mask, is because they were just practicing for the Olympics.
And why was Leahy dressed as a woman?
They were practicing for a play at the Bradford Recreational Center.
My favorite part about that is so Randy going, I'm not Randy, and then Leahy,
fucking Leahy with his wig, mustache, and lipstick. I'm not Leahy.
It's like, Randy, yes, that can be passed off.
I don't know. I think they just know from the gut and no shirt.
Yeah, but the fact that it was Leahy,
clearly Leahy,
and then Julian, he's like, all right, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna give me the tape. You're gonna give me those drugs, that alcohol, and I'm not gonna tell anyone what went on.
I won't tell anyone that I just walked in on you guys. And as he leaves, even he admits this is going to be a really hard secret not to tell people.
Yeah, I know. That was such a weird fucking thing that happened. That changed their whole relationship.
Oh, Anthony, if only you knew.
I don't know, but I'll know in the future.
Oh, you will know very soon more about that. So yeah, then they destroy the porno tape. Bubbles all wrecks it up. And Ricky thanks him. Ricky goes home to Lucy, and Bubbles and Julian go in to have some drinks and smoke up. And that was the end of that episode.
Yeah, that was.
Now, Anthony, to end out our episode here, I believe this...
That's the end of that episode, but not our episode.
Let's not copy Michael exactly. Let's not get sued by our own co-host.
That was the end of that episode, but not the end of our recording
God
here.
Damn it. So how do you feel... God damn it! We're not gonna rip off their show.
Okay.
But seriously though, first seeing the first 3, getting your toes in the water.
It's really funny. I can't wait to watch the next 3. We might have to do that sooner rather than later, because I might watch this without you if you don't.
You can watch them all you want. I've seen them all enough to where if we go into it, I can.
It was very funny because I feel like it's when the very first time you showed me the Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know if you remember this moment, but
Was it the very first
Yeah, it was the
episode?
very first episode.
Is that how I did it? Okay.
So, what happened was Jared and I were living together, and I was playing Borderlands 2. Like, there were 2 TVs in the living room. He was going to be like, "Oh, I'll watch the show, and like if you want to, go ahead." I'm like, "That's fine. I don't care." I'm playing Borderlands 2 because I fucking love Borderlands 2. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And I was playing. I remember I was in like the frigid area where there's the boat and the racks and all that. And then I was like, I kept like side eyeing it, and I kept like watching it, and eventually I stopped playing to fully watch this show. And Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite, like I said, favorite video games of all time. And I stopped playing that game to watch Always Sunny. I feel like that would have been a very similar situation where I would have stopped doing what I was doing to watch this. I very much enjoy this show.
This show was recommended to me years ago. I got up to the 3rd episode, like where we are right now. But for me, I had to walk away from it because I'm like, this is so fucking dumb.
Yeah, Jared says it's gonna get better. I can't wait for that.
It does, because like for me, like I only got to that 3rd episode. I had to walk away. I came back like a week later, and I finished off the last 3. Started season 2, and the tone of that show, like Bubbles gets a makeover. Like he keeps the glasses and whatnot, but like the way he does the character gets a little bit better. They don't follow the same rhythm as what this one does. This one is very pilot season instead of pilot episode. Because then when we get to the second one, Bubbles becomes a major character, and they change up how the show format goes.
I feel like Bubbles, he kind of is a major character. He just doesn't have his toes dipped in. Because he's been in every episode, and he's had important parts in every episode.
The backstory that I looked up a while back there was for that character specifically. Mike would do the Bubbles when they were filming filming the pilot, and then when it got pitched to the network, he's like, "Hey, there's another character I kind of want to add in this. I want to know how you feel about it." So he brought him in doing Bubbles, and they liked it. He's like, "Okay, we'll see how it goes. Add him in there." But then when it came to season 2, Bubbles had gained so much popularity with people and everyone on set. They're like, "Yeah, no, this needs to become like a more reoccurring, focusing character," because he just is very much so. Like Ricky will fuck everything up. Julian will try to keep them on track, but Bubbles is always the one that doesn't. Well, 9 times out of 10 will not go to prison with them, but we'll always we'll try to make sure at least that they're not going to do something that immediately sends them.
Yeah, that sends him to quote Office Space, "Fuck me in the ass, prison."
Yeah. He's very much the anchor for the other 2. He's the only level-headed one out of the 2 of them who doesn't think about crime.
Which is ironic, because, from looking at him, you would think that he would be the first one to get into trouble. Or
you think so? We're not going to get into the animated series, but we may watch the one episode of that where they're kids, and it actually kind of shows how they met.
Their background, like the Ed, Edd and Eddy episode.
Kind of like they show like younger Ricky and Julian and how they met the day they met Bubbles and how they became friends. Which
Ed and Eddy.
My only contradiction with that is how they explain it in the series and then how they did it going into the animated. But that's neither here nor there.
Jared, Ed, Edd and Eddy is just Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
Bubbles is Ed, Ricky is clearly Eddie, and Julian is Double D.
No, you're actually... This is why I said by season 2 they change up. Double D is Bubbles. Bubbles is the extremely intelligent one. I don't understand how. Considering his history, I don't know how he's the smartest one. But he's very much the Double D, where in a later season they need to make honey oil, which is made by cooking down marijuana and taking the THC and making a thick oil out of it.
Yeah. How you make butter.
The thing that Ricky knows by heart, he doesn't know math. He doesn't know English. Like he doesn't know like the things that we would all know as basic. But he can tell you how much an eighth of an ounce of weed will cost and how many eighths of an ounce he needs for this. Like he can do math in that way. So he knows how to make honey oil, but then Bubbles is the one who like makes a full-on schematic of putting multiple sheds together with an intricate system of it boiling up and then going over, then going down, then getting separated, then going up another tube, and then coming out to final product. So Bubbles is the Double D. Eddie is the Julian. Mr. I have a plan for everything. We're all going to follow this plan. And then you just have Ed, who's Ricky, who's just a fucking idiot. Like, just the dumbest person. But yeah, so that's the first 3 episodes. That's where we are with this. I don't really know how you all are going to think of this.
Did they make a Dragon Ball?
I want one of those.
It
looks
3,000 grams of pure THC oil.
Oh, God. But anyway, so...
I can just see you holding that and be like, take a bite out of like a fucking apple.
I'd die.
You would fucking die. Your heart would be like beating so fast and then not at the same time.
Yeah. But no, so that's first 3. We'll see how far we end up going with this. But this one... This is very much a bonus series for all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you again, if you're listening to this on Patreon. We very much appreciate you. If you're not listening to it on Patreon, then go to patreon.com/Oddcast.
Yeah, and hopefully by this time, maybe this will be, in the future, the thing that encourages you to do the Patreon.
Maybe. I am taking Mike's style of Worst Nostalgia Trip.
Which, it's not an original idea. You just react.
No, but I very much like the way Heather and Mike do their show.
Yeah, they got a lot of good
and there's things like this where, like, I would love to
beaters.
take you or Mike or anybody, like, through something and just kind of be like, this is something that I have enjoyed, and this is why.
Oh, God, I gotta buy Beast Wars, because I think I would love to do a Beast Wars reaction, because
I will join you on the Beast Wars. As much as it's terrible, I would love to watch
animation, that's the thing. The animation is god-awful and horrible, but the
fucking
show is amazing.
See, I remember the storylines being good, but I know trying to rewatch it now, that CGI that they tried using is fucking terrible.
Like Dinobot's character arc, especially Dinobot 2,
they're too shiny. They're too shiny. Yes, there's a thing is too shiny.
Mm-hmm, there is. That's right. Dinobot's got a pink sword because it's so shiny.
God damn it. But yeah, so, follow us, of course, at Oddcast and on Twitter.
Yeah.
You can email us, oddcastmedia@gmail.com. Again, if you're listening to a Patreon, we thank you. And thank you for fucking hanging out. I don't know.
Yeah, thanks for listening to us babble for an hour about a show that an hour or longer, about a show, we just watched.
Yeah, I'm Jared Minicon.
I'm Anthony Denny.
And in the words of Ricky, make like a tree and fuck off.